So, of course, it's a Wednesday. So what does that mean? We're recording a review of Daredevil Born Again. But before we get into that, man, some news popped off at CinemaCon. We actually thought we were going to get a Superman trailer. We remain Superman trailer-less. So, sorry, James Gunn, but it's going to be all Marvel today. But I got a little show and tell here.
We like show and tell.
I do. I just got this piece back from the framers. I don't know if you guys can see that there, but
that's pretty.
Yeah, so that's we have Miles, and then we have Gwen, and then we have Miles in the Spider-Man suit. And I realized I didn't have any Spider-Man stuff on my wall, and so I decided I saw this piece, and I decided I would pick it up. So.
That is a gorgeous piece.
Yeah, I'm all about it, man. It's a local artist too. I would shout him out, but I forgot the guy's name. Of course,
that's how that goes.
That's how it goes. But the reason that I thought that this was so timely is we actually got the title for Spider-Man 4 in the MCU is going to be Brand New Day. Parentheses. Yes, it is.
Yeah. That is correct. Spider-Man, Brand New Day.
Yes, it is.
This is something we theorized a couple months ago.
You did call this,
and you presented a good reason as to why they wouldn't do it, and so I was convinced they probably wouldn't do it, and that's because it does sound similar to Brave New World, but. You know what? I guess there's enough time removed between the two movies. They don't really care. So, yeah, Spider-Man 4, Brand New Day.
Well, they also probably figured that, nobody saw Brave New World, so.
Goddamn.
Although, it actually did pass Shang-Chi at the box office before its run ended.
Okay.
So, it was it wasn't a flop, but it was just kind of a.
Yeah.
Which, if you got to pick one of the two. You would much prefer the meh.
Absolutely. Man, so Brand New Day. What are you expecting from this one?
Well, Brand New Day followed. It is possibly more famous than the actual content of Brand New Day for following the infamous One More Day storyline, which a lot of people hate. And this is the one that you referenced previously where Mephisto basically gives Peter the option to bring May back, but he would erase his relationship with MJ.
Yep.
They're married, right? In that
I believe they were.
Marriage? Okay.
Yeah.
And so Mephisto basically in that storyline, he's taking the place of Doctor Strange in the MCU. Where it's Doctor Strange's spell that erases who Peter is for everyone. But with this situation, it was May died, and then the MCU, he's trying to get his friends into college.
Yep.
But his girlfriend and his friend. I mean, that's his girlfriend and his best friend.
Okay,
these are not just two NPCs.
Sure.
But yeah, so. We had a reset at the end of No Way Home, though, that was very similar to the one in One More Day. So now we have Brand New Day, which is hopefully...
Yes, it is.
See, I done fucked you up with it now. Which is hopefully, going to take a interesting MCU spin on the whole idea.
Yeah, I think so. When I found out the news for the new Spider-Man movie name, Brand New Day, I thought, I wonder what they could do for the story. I remember you saying that they were looking for a female antagonist or someone to fit that role.
Yep.
And we theorized maybe Silver Sable, and I still can see that, but I was thinking about the storyline Brand New Day, or the event as a whole, that run. And that run is where we get Martin Lee, Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
They could bring him in. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Didn't May, even in the MCU, didn't she work for Feast?
She does. She does work for Feast. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
And so there's our Mr. Negative connection.
Yeah.
I think that would be a tremendous tie-in. That also is a way, because I could see Peter doing volunteer work for them in her honor.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how they initially crossed paths. The other rumor that really, that this kind of brings a little Metal Gear Solid exclamation mark for, ring, is the Sadie Sink casting. Mm-hmm. And so people believe that now, since it's being titled this, that she actually might be playing Carly Cooper.
Oh, shit. So
instead of the rumored MJ or Jean Grey, Carly Cooper actually makes a lot more sense. And, I mean, Peter got a thing for redheads, so,
Yeah, so, I mean, there was also the theory, which I hope not. I'm drawing a blank on her name. It's another newer-ish character. She was also in the games, in the more recent games. Man, I forget her name. It wasn't Jackpot. Anyway, she's so irrelevant to me, I forgot her name. But it hopefully won't be that person who I'm thinking of.
It's weird of you to talk about Gwen Stacy like that. I'm just kidding. That other hoe in the Spider-Man.
The other one.
Yeah, Jesus.
The one that got chunked off a bridge or whatever.
Right? Yeah, I actually think I would place my bets that we're going to get Mr. Negative. Mm-hmm. And I think Carly Cooper is a likely as well, because it seems like the theme with this movie is that they want to tread on like some new ground that maybe the other movies haven't really looked at before. And in the last movie we got all villains that had been featured previously.
Yeah.
Whereas before that they really were about villains we had not seen in the movies before, like Vulture, or Mysterio. So I think that they're going to continue that in Brand New Day, and I think that getting Mr. Negative is very likely.
Yeah, I would really dig that. And I think that'd definitely be the move to go. This is going to be interesting because this will essentially be the first Spider-Man movie where he doesn't really have a shoulder to lean on, or any kind of mentor, or any sort of person to give him any kind of support.
Right.
I would say Doctor Strange, but hell, he doesn't even remember.
Nope.
So.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows who Peter Parker is. I heard some dumb shit yesterday, okay? So we got to talk about this. So somebody was like, the reason that Peter isn't in Doomsday is because Doctor Doom is going to teleport everyone to the war world, but like nobody knows who Peter Parker is, so he's not going to get taken. And I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense on any level. Number one, if Doctor Doom was going to teleport people to a war world, we don't even know that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's probably going to happen, but we don't know that it's going to happen. He wants Spider-Man anyway, not Peter Parker. He doesn't give a fuck.
So he wants Spider-Man. He wouldn't want... He doesn't give a damn who it is under the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he would want Spider-Man. So, like, your theory is nonsense, good sir.
Right.
Yeah, there was a whole thing on Reddit.
So you should have led with that.
Which I should. Hey, man, Reddit's 50-50. You might get some, like, really well thought out 18 pages of, like, this crazy theory with all this evidence, or you might get some bullshit like what I just mentioned. And it might still be 18 pages.
It might still be 18 pages of well thought out bullshit.
Yeah. It's just like, if you think more than like one step into it, more than one like logical jump, then it just all falls apart immediately.
Yeah, it doesn't really track.
Yeah. Just don't think about it, Morty.
Yeah. I got a real bad feeling over the next, year or so, we're going to be getting a lot of real bad doomsday theories.
Yes, especially as like set leaks happen and things like that. Apparently, there was already a pretty bad leak. Somebody told me about it, and I was like, "Well, I ain't gonna see that shit." And they were like, it's all over the internet. I was like, it might be all over the internet for you.
Yeah.
I was like, but I don't go looking for shit like that. So like my algorithm isn't just like, hey, here's some Marvel spoilers.
Yeah, no. I didn't even know they were long enough in production to have any kind of major spoilers or leaks.
Well, they are filming. So
Yeah, but I mean, shit, like how long ago did filming start? You know?
that's true. I think in Endgame, I think they shot that big ass section at the end, like the big ass battle. I think they shot that first.
They might have.
Yeah.
Which would have been super confusing because like maybe 3 people on that set knew what was going on.
Yeah.
You know? Everyone else is just like, ah.
Yeah, I mean, Thanos' army wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, that leads me to something else I read today that was interesting. Apparently, the actress that played Proxima Midnight,
Carrie Coon.
yeah, she actually did not come back for Endgame. That's not her voice in Endgame.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, which I applause, by the way, for you just pulling that out. That was crazy. But, yeah, apparently, she made all the, she did the voice for Infinity War, and at the time, it was like one of the highest grossing movies of all time. It's still number 6 right now, but it was like 2 at the time. And she was like, hey, so y'all made all this fucking money. And Marvel was like, yeah, you want to come back for Endgame? She was like, yes. Are you going to pay me more? And Marvel was like, no. And then she was like, well, then I won't be there. And she was like, fuck it. And like they tried to pull that wrestling promoter bullshit with her and be like,
the exposure.
yeah, like, well, you should just be happy to be part of the Marvel universe or whatever.
She was like, am I dying again in this one?
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
she
yes.
would have. Yeah. She would have. What's interesting though is they had her back for an episode of What If, so she must have they must have been like, all right, fine, we'll pay you.
Must have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, not surprising in the least.
The thing that's real fucked up about it too is when she originally accepted the role for Infinity War, she was only going to be doing voice work. But then it evolved after the fact into her actually doing the mocap as well. So in my opinion, she deserved to be paid more. Anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
yeah, it's I mean, it's fucked up sometimes how like these studios pay or don't pay people what they should be paid.
Yeah.
Or even try to ballpark it closed. You know, it's funny. Like I did like some pseudo math. This was years ago, and I remember venting to Kevin about this. But I was like, you know, like so many of the major players in Infinity War and Endgame, and the story itself, like so many of those characters and the basis for that story wouldn't exist without Jim Starlin.
yeah,
Like, he's the one who wrote it. He's the one who created Thanos and Drax and so many other these characters. And it's like, man, imagine if they paid him 0.5% of the grossing of those movies. I think like the math came out to like 25 million.
yeah,
And I'm like, he'd be set, you know? But it's like you can't give up 0.5% of the total earnings of those 2 movies for the man who gave you the outline for what you did.
yeah, or at least pay the man like a flat fee or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this has been an ongoing thing with Marvel because if you remember back in like the Phase 2 days, there was a huge situation where the other Avengers ended up going to bat for I think Scarlet and Hemsworth.
Oh yeah.
Because both of them were getting paid. Like I think for Avengers 1, I think they both made like $200,000.
No, actually, if I remember correctly, I heard that Scarlet was number 2. Like RDJ got paid big bangs, and Scarlet got paid. It was Chris Evans and Hemsworth.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
got
okay.
paid like $200,000.
Scarlett was like, "I'm gonna get my money."
Yeah, she got her money because I mean, she was at the time the second biggest name.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, that's true. But I mean, if you look at it like before Iron Man 1, she would have been the biggest name back then.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson did have 2 years of being the highest paid actor on Earth. I think her and The Rock went back and forth there for a little while. Yeah.
Damn.
Because they was putting ScarJo in everything back in the day.
And now they're going back to it. She's in Jurassic World, part whatever.
Man, it's going to be hard for them to make. It's kind of like how on Monday we were like, well, no matter what, this won't be the worst Fantastic Four movie, and it wasn't. But it tried. It was trying real hard.
It actively tried. Yep.
So yeah, I just hope this Jurassic World movie is not trying to outdo. Is it Dominion? Is the terrible one?
No, Dominion is what this one's called. So that's ironic
okay.
what you just said.
No. So what's the really terrible one?
The second one? Or
the second one.
Jurassic World, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Dinosaurs in the Dark.
Feels like I remember Electric Boogaloo.
I don't remember the name of it. Dino Crisis.
They should come out with a Dino Crisis movie. That would be dope.
I would not like if we forgot to give a hearty, homey-filled rest in peace to Val Kilmer.
Yes.
Who, as of this recording earlier today,
let me pour one out for him.
Val unfortunately passed away. We knew he had some health complications, but apparently he succumbed to those. So, I mean, the man had one hell of a career, you know.
Yeah, he had been struggling for a while. As a matter of fact, there was originally he was not going to be in Top Gun, in the new Top Gun, and apparently Tom Cruise was like, the dude's literally the heart and soul of the movie. Like, you have to get him. And they figured out a way to make it work in the movie. But, yeah he had been suffering from throat cancer for quite a few years. Our condolences out to his family and all of his fans, of which we are included. Not everybody looks back on Batman Forever with, like, a ton of reverence. But one thing is evident is that Val Kilmer himself was very into the character, and as a matter of fact, his last Instagram post ever was like a Batman tribute that he did, and he loved the character. You know, he was very passionate about the character.
That was never the problem.
Nope.
With Forever.
Nope.
You know.
Yep. It was definitely not him, and it wasn't Chris O'Donnell either.
No. That list is getting shorter and shorter.
It is. Yep. I don't think Jim Carrey was necessarily the problem.
No.
It couldn't have been like the writing, and then also the way that the director told what's his name, Tommy Lee Jones to act.
I need you to out Jim Carrey.
It's like I no one could do that.
Right.
No one.
Well, Caleb, what you're suggesting couldn't possibly be the reason why that movie isn't as good as it should have been.
You know, I think Forever is... Nope, not quite, but it will be throwback eligible in 2 years.
Oh, wow. Yes, it will be.
Yeah, it's 97.
No, that's 95.
Is it 95? I thought it was 97.
Yeah. Batman and Robin was 97.
Oh, well then, it's already eligible. Since I can't do Muppet Treasure Island...
I'll be goddamn.
I might just have to pick Batman Forever.
Well, you know, to commemorate Val Kilmer and his wonderful role as Batman in Batman Forever, Caleb is going to give us a beautiful rendition of "Kiss from a Rose." So take it, Caleb.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I will be doing that. Actually, that's not in my contract. I explicitly told the committee that there would be a separate fee along with 30 days writing advance notice for all musical numbers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
all of them.
Yeah, for all of them, and this came about because I actually, on my very first appearance on the podcast, back when I was just guest of the year and not the world's greatest co-host, I actually wanted to do the entirety of the Prince Ali parade.
Due to time and budget constraints, we weren't able to accommodate that.
Right? Yeah. So same.
One more thing, really quickly here, and that is, it's kind of funny. Like you introduced that beautiful Spider-Man piece over there, but we forgot to mention that Beyond the Spider-Verse also finally has a release date.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
I haven't heard about this.
Oh,
was it like 2031?
June 2027 is the official release date.
So I just want to point out that, like, a year ago, right? I was like, we're gonna get another Avengers movie before we get before that movie comes out, and we are. We're damn near gonna get both of them.
Yeah.
I bet you it gets pushed back again. That shit's going 2028.
Ooh, boy.
Can you imagine being like a shareholder at Sony and seeing that instead of making a sequel to this like incredibly high grossing film, which by the way, you ended on a fucking cliffhanger, which would have been fine if the other movie was going to come out like 18 months later or whatever, you know, but instead of making a sequel to that, you decided to churn out Morbius, Madam Web, a bunch of fucking Venom movies, which those do typically okay, and Craven, the animal rights activist. Come on, man.
Yeah, dog. I can't even begin to comprehend Sony's thought process between how and why they do certain things. You know, I did look into it a little bit just to see like what was the big fucking holdup with Beyond the Spider-Verse and what was going on with it. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of tumultuous stuff going on with like the VFX department and them being way overworked and underpaid and having things changed, you know, at the last moment. And, you know, with things like that, you can't just be like, you know what, instead of doing this scene, we're going to flip it and this is going to be like this instead. Like, that's not how it works. You can't just go around changing shit because, like, the amount of work and time it takes to do that is just fucking insane.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of that going on, and yeah, a lot of those guys who worked on it just didn't want to come back. So it was several really bad decisions that were made that led to it being just delayed indefinitely.
It's a shame too, man, because the animation style in that movie is so unique.
Yeah.
So many others have attempted to copy it since. It is best in class.
And, I mean, on top of that, it was just a fantastic movie, a great story, a wonderful sequel.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the way it ended, my gosh, like, it just really hits you. Like, man, I want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is, man, with a cliffhanger, you're on a timetable when you release a cliffhanger, you know. But apparently no one told Sony that particularly.
Yeah, that timetable is not 5 years.
Yeah.
Because that came out in 22, right?
Was it 22 or 23?
Might have been 23.
Yeah, I think it was 23. It came out the same year as Guardians 3.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so they finally have a release date. So June 2027. We will see if they will stick to it or if they push it back yet again.
We gonna see.
Well,
But for some shit.
Speaking of seeing.
Yeah. Speaking of seeing, wait. Let's talk about some shit that actually is coming out, but also took forever. Daredevil Born Again, episode 7 of 9. We have 2 left.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that being said, now that we've had a proper 23-minute cold open, I suppose proper introductions are in order. So, homies one and all, welcome back to a very special episode of the Superhero Homies Podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I am here once again with the world's greatest co-host. I'm talking about none other than the homie Caleb.
Oh, me? It's me? Yeah. I feel like I should have a bouquet. Oh, yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's been a time. I thought that just like release cadence was going to be a lot, but I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
You've been killing it with getting these episodes out, though. I know it's been a lot.
Yeah. I picked back up alcohol again. So,
okay. Yeah.
It's been worth it.
Yeah. That's perfect. But, yeah, guys, we've been churning them out.
Yes.
And we are here for Born Again. Yeah, man. What was your kind of overall thoughts on this episode?
I thought this was another really good one. What I really appreciate about this one was that it was really straightforward. There's a lot of other series where I would see something like this, maybe even being the finale, because a lot of things are wrapped up,
Yep.
They took some really interesting swings here, and I think for the most part it paid off pretty well here. By the way, full spoilers for the episode.
Yep. Probably for episodes 1 through 7.
Yes.
Of Born Again.
And everything else that you've seen Daredevil in, even the Ben Affleck movie, I don't know. Which, by the way, this episode is called Art for Art's Sake, which is also why Caleb brought artwork in here today.
I did.
He's so committed to the bit.
I am. You got to commit to the bit.
That's right.
That's superhero homie rule number 12. Because I can't remember what 11 was.
I still need to find that. I combed through it and I couldn't find the specific moment, so I'm just gonna listen back to it.
Yeah, I've decided I'm just gonna listen to the whole episode so that I can find it because I think it was good and I really need to know what it was.
That's right. I mean, it says something when you have more commandments than God.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I still really enjoyed this episode. I'm curious to see okay. So what exactly are we going to do for these last 2 episodes? But what did you think?
This is actually, I think, my least favorite episode of Born Again. I did not hate it. I wouldn't even say I disliked it. I just don't feel like it had the nuance that the other episodes do. And maybe that's kind of the point, right? It's just we're going to give you all this cool character stuff and motivation stuff and set all these pieces. And then, all right, we're going to give you a cool-ass fight where Daredevil fucks somebody up. You know, I get it, right? We didn't get a lot of that in the beginning, so we got to get it now. But I felt like this whole episode, it was 32 minutes or something like that.
It was 45.
Was it 45?
43.
43? I felt like it needed some time to, that's including the recap and all that shit, though, right, in the intro. So it's 35 minutes an episode. But yeah, man, I feel like this episode needed some time to breathe for me. Parts of it kind of the whole, what's the guy's name? Is it Bastion Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole thing to me seemed just like it came out of nowhere. I mean, I did theorize on the previous review that he was going to kill Heather.
Yeah.
That's Matt's girlfriend's name.
Oh, shit. Is she the same person who's the therapist for Fisk?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
That is wild.
Oh, if you're just tuning in, this is a running bit that we have where he can't remember what her name is.
I have to write that shit down every time.
But, yeah, so I love the fight, and I love the continuation of the Matt and Fisk stuff. I just felt like they could have used a little bit more grace in how they told this story. I don't have a problem necessarily with the story itself. It's just it feels kind of jagged, right? The way it actually played out. Maybe it needed, if it had 10 extra minutes to breathe a little bit. Now, I will say too, in its defense, remember I was telling you about the Bryan Cranston show, Your Honor?
Yeah. And
I had to turn it off because the main character kid was just so stupid.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that's Muse he plays the kid. And I don't think he's a bad actor. I think the writing for him, I think the writing just makes him incompetent, and I think he does a good job. And I thought he did a good job here, but as soon as he sat down, I was like, there's no way that they hired this motherfucker to be some random dude.
And that's interesting because, watching this, I feel like I was being almost gaslit a little bit watching this episode. I did have similar sentiments to you, in the sense that it felt like this episode for me was kind of paint by the numbers. Okay, this is what's happening, and you get all the necessary information, but nothing really feels like it has a whole lot of passion behind it.
Right.
But there's nothing technically wrong with it. It just felt like it lacked a little bit of the depth, a little bit of the soul of the other episodes. I do agree there. On a technical standpoint, it was still done really well for me. But the reason why I felt gaslit is because admittedly it had been I don't know how many years since, maybe 6 years or so since I've read the Muse stuff. But I was sitting here looking this is interesting. I don't remember him having like an actual name.
They've never revealed his origin.
Yeah, no, and so I had to go back and check, and yeah, they never revealed his origin or anything of the such. So it's I always say that like when you step out on a limb like that, it's always gonna be interesting. You have to make sure that it's good, and that it works. Case in point, people always say, well, what about James Gunn? He always changes so many aspects. The thing about James Gunn is that he actually rarely changes characters unless we're talking about the Weasel. In most cases, James just adds on layers to characters. He doesn't really take away anything from them.
Which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I mean, in this case, so the way I see it, right, is like, I highly doubt, I mean, especially now, I doubt that they ever wanted to use Muse in, like, multiple seasons.
Yep.
So, like, if this is what you wanted to use the character for, I don't have a problem with them giving him this backstory because it made sense to make it more personal to Matt. Whereas, and to Fisk also, inadvertently. But I can see how in the comics, though, if you want to be able to use him again and again and again, that you keep that layer of mystery. So I'm okay with that separation between the two.
Yeah, well, I guess for me, it's like this. I didn't have a problem with Muse dying here.
Right, yeah.
I guess for me, it was just the issue of us figuring out who he really is. Like, them revealing that his real identity and then killing him 25 minutes later.
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay. Like, don't get me wrong, it still all technically tracks. But in terms of that emotional impact, it just wasn't really there because we're just now getting and absorbing all this information about him. And also, like, to come back and defend this, because I've seen people online who are, like, upset, oh my gosh, they wasted another character, blah, blah, blah. Hey, guys, listen. Muse was created by Charles Soule during his Daredevil run back in, like, 2016. I had to go back and look through the Omni to find like some Muse stuff, but it's like his first appearance was in issue 11, and that's about a third of the way in the Omni. And before the end of the Omni, spoiler alert, Muse is dead.
Yeah,
it's like he's very memorable throughout that book, but he was never meant to last.
Yeah.
So the fact that he died here, like if you're upset about him dying here, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe don't read the book then, because he dies there too.
Yeah.
So I wasn't mad at him dying. I do wish we could have, like you said, maybe spend a little bit more time exploring certain aspects of him before they pull the trigger, literally.
Also, like, the whole time that they're in the meeting with Fisk, and the whole time that that Heather is talking to Muse, I'm just like, if y'all motherfuckers tell me that this motherfucker trained in Taekwondo one more time, like, all you're saying is, listen, in a couple minutes, Daredevil's gonna bust in here. And we have to give the audience a reason why you're not just on the floor in about 12 seconds. So we're going to reiterate a bunch of times that you trained extensively and competed professionally in Taekwondo. Now, when the ninja comes in here in a minute, Taekwondo is heavily based on kicks. You should probably kick him.
Yeah.
He does not do that at all.
It was a closed quarter. It didn't have a lot of room to maneuver.
Daredevil seemed like he had room.
That's different.
He's fucking blind. I'm sorry, but I feel like a professional Taekwondo, competitor should be able to beat up a blind lawyer.
Hey man, look. So none of like his muses have ever hit back. So and he was rusty. Took some time.
Got it.
You know what I mean? It's not like in the tournaments where like they stand each other apart and there's referee. This wasn't the same. I'm sure had Muse been prepared for him, he would have beat Matt Murdock's ass. I tell you.
I need to see the scene I need an outtake of the where he runs down the tunnel at him with the mask off. I want to see the expression on that dude's face.
Because I now need to see like both of them without the mask on, like full crazed Matt Murdock,
frothing at the mouth, Charlie Cox,
and just terrified Muse. So before we get into the recap proper, guys, just some fun facts for you here about Muse. Muse is actually an Inhuman. They didn't go that route here, which is ironic because they had Kamala Khan's dad on, 2 episodes ago.
I think in the MCU now they have pretty much done the reverse of what they did in the comics, where it's like, yeah, there's mutants and Inhumans, and then it's like over time just, oh yeah, no, we don't talk about them. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
they could have made Muse a mutant, but
they could have. Yeah,
I mean, let's not pretend they're not the same shit anyway.
Right. I mean, they pretty much are the exact same thing. It's like just mutants don't come from like Terrigen crystals or whatever.
Yeah, most of them don't live on the moon or whatever. So
that's not canon.
Yeah. But Muse is he's an Inhuman, and he is powered. So basically he has this thing where he just, any kind of like sensory perception is just nullified in his presence. And so Matt Murdock has a real hard time dealing with someone who he can barely even sense. And on top of that, Muse, he moves at a damn near superhuman speed. Not like the Flash or anything like that, but like for a person, he moves deceptively fast. And it's to the point where like it's hard to pinpoint this guy. Which makes him very annoying to fight because he's as annoying as he is creepy,
and that's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
He is creepy AF.
Creepy as fuck. They definitely opted for a more grounded approach here. One that's not rooted in like, superpowered opponents or anything like that. I do think that somewhere down the line, Matt Murdock will have to fight somebody who is not a normal person.
Yeah.
Maybe season 2 of Born Again. We'll see. Oh, which by the way, have you seen those set photos?
I've seen the ones where he's like hiding the black suit.
Okay. Yeah. It was after you told me about that, like I saw like set photos like him not hiding.
Oh.
Yeah, him full.
Does the suit look dope?
It looks dope. It looks very dope.
Does he have the cape?
No, there's no cape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No cape, but he's got the full black with the red emblems. It looks good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have they called any of the Defenders on set yet with any of that?
I haven't seen this, but apparently Christian Ritter has been spotted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that at least she didn't show up in the first season, which we got 2 episodes left.
Yeah. You never know.
And I mean, I think honestly, probably the most intriguing thing about this episode is speculating on what the fuck they're going to do for the last 2.
Exactly. Yeah. I still think or theorize that if Angela Ayala had money, she would have went to Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
But she didn't because she knows that probably wouldn't work.
And Jessica Jones would have caved this motherfucker's chest in immediately.
Yeah.
She'd have been like, show me where the creepy painter man is.
Yeah. You gotta think, Jessica would roll a terrible performance check that looked like a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And Muse would be like, this feels like a trap.
He would take her back to the museum.
The museum.
And then she probably would just like give him like the ear clap,
Yeah.
and just give him like a severe concussion.
And then she like the way that Charlie Murphy kicked Rick James.
Yeah.
That'd be the same kick that she would do to Muse.
Yeah, he'd be like, I think I'm bleeding inside my chest. And then he would just like start drawing.
Yeah. All right. So to get this thing popping off proper, art for art's sake, Fisk is in his office, and Daniel and Buck are in there as well. And Fisk discovers that Daredevil is back. They discover this because, of course, Angela, had been rescued by Daredevil, and she had given her police report. And news had gotten back to Fisk, and apparently she said that Daredevil was there. You can almost see Fisk hate moaner rising.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just... It's very much... What it reminded me of is the scene in Dark Knight Returns, where the Joker sees that Batman is on the news.
Yep.
And he just lets that little slide. Like, he had been just, just gone. And then you see that sly grin come up. Whereas with Fisk, it was the, like, anger, where Fisk is like, oh, okay, well, we had an agreement, but motherfucker.
And I kind of think that Fisk is secretly interpreting this as, okay, well, now I have permission to be the real me.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got that vibe.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, oh, well, I mean, if this motherfucker's going to do it, then I'm going to do it.
Right. And that's terrible because he's the mayor.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that we're going to start seeing some darker Fisk.
Yeah.
soon.
Oh, yeah. This next scene is interesting here because Heather questions Matt about all the bruises and him being distant lately and moody. Typical Matt Murdock stuff.
I feel like they couldn't, they like, didn't have a good way to end this conversation. It's like they had the conversation because, obviously, like, she lives with him. She's going to see the bruises from the fight.
Yeah.
But, like, Matt just, like, really brushes it off. And I feel like if your girlfriend's a therapist, she's not going to let you do that shit.
Yeah. But also, I never fucked a therapist, but, like, I imagine they know when to push and when to pull back.
Right.
And, so I feel like she applied the proper amount of pressure, enough to let Matt know, oh, man, this bitch ain't dumb. But also, like, to let him know that, okay, maybe, like, she knows that I'm not being forthcoming with her,
Yeah, the whole thing was interesting, right? With this scene, because it's kind of like Matt rolled a 1 on like what word to use, where he's like, "This all kind of just feels fake."
Fake, yeah.
And I was like, "That wasn't the right word."
Yeah,
and then he was like, "No, not you."
Yeah,
but all this other stuff.
Yeah, she couldn't have taken too well to that, but after that, they do exchange "I love yous."
Yeah.
Which is never good if you're a comic book character.
It's really not. Especially if the person you're saying it to is Matt Murdock.
So here's the good news for Heather. Is that Bullseye is in jail.
That's right. And Muse is dead.
Yeah, Muse is dead. And Bullseye is just notorious for killing all of Matt's girlfriends.
That's true.
It's his favorite pastime.
Yeah, it... And thankfully, now that Muse is gone, she probably doesn't have any other clients that are psychopathic people that hate Matt, so...
what would be the odds?
Yeah, that'd be wild.
It would be almost like if there was really only just one therapist in all of New York.
Just Hell's Kitchen.
More than Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Matt and Cherry argue about Daredevil going after Muse. This was an interesting scene because we haven't really seen Matt and Cherry butt heads like this.
I need some background on Cherry.
We all do, because they speak about Cherry like they're fucking gaslighting us, right?
He's been there from day one.
Yeah, he's like Sleepy Gary or whatever. Like, yeah. You remember him.
Yeah, you remember Sleepy Gary. He's always been with us.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Sleepy Gary.
Yeah, the whole character of Cherry is very interesting because just from jump, they treat this character like he's someone who we already know when we don't.
Yeah.
We know enough about him, but we don't really know him that well. So
I don't know why they just didn't get the officer. I forget what his name, but he was like an officer in the early Defender stuff. He was in like all the Defender shows.
I thought you were gonna say like the detective from season 3. I was like, he got dead.
No, not the FBI dude.
Yeah. Okay.
No. This was a guy who was like an officer in the early season of Daredevil, and he got promoted to detective by like the end of the Defenders verse.
Okay, I think I remember who you're talking about.
But he was in different ones. I can't remember his name though. But it wasn't Cherry.
Yeah, it wasn't Cherry.
It wasn't this guy.
Well,
yeah, I need some kind of like backstory on him or whatever. And I don't know, man. It seems like what they're doing with him is he's kind of playing Foggy's role of like the person in Matt's life that's like, you don't need to be the devil, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's kind of what they're using him for. But because we don't have that same connection to Cherry that we do with Foggy, it doesn't hit the same. You know?
Right. And especially because Matt calls him out for his hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you know, when you were on the force, if you were in a situation where you couldn't do this, you would call me.
Yep.
And I'll put the suit on and come bail you out. So
right. And beat some ass.
And like Matt is trying to save lives here. This isn't just Matt out gallivanting. You know what I mean?
But it is some of that.
Oh, sure, it is some of that, but he also has a point that like had he not intervened, there would be yet another victim.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and to that point, Matt did say that Muse killed at least 60 people, damn near 61, and it took him what, a day?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this motherfucker found him in one day. He killed 60 people, and the NYPD didn't even pick up on it. Mm-hmm. It was a sanitation worker.
Which is why I really need them also to tell me what Frank Castle's been up to. I don't believe that 60 people die in a Frank Castle vicinity unless those 60 people were killed by Frank Castle.
By Frank Castle, yeah. What it is Frank Castle was killing these people, and then Muse was just dragging the bodies off.
And Frank was like, this is kind of convenient, actually.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know what this dude's doing with all these bodies, but...
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Back in Fisk's office, he tells Buck why Daredevil is no good, and Fisk makes this laundry list of excuses, and I had to write this one down. He's caused 10 years of infrastructure damage. And I'm like, you mean because he busted your drug empire?
Your drug empire. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think that's a good excuse, Fisk.
And Buck was just like, well, but you're the mayor now, Mr. Fisk.
Yeah. And Fisk was like, oh, shit, I am.
Yeah.
And this just really caused Fisk to want to double down on his efforts to stop the vigilantism.
Especially now.
So, and at this point, really, like, there's kind of a race to find Muse, you know. And at this, I will say, Matt wants to find Muse because he doesn't want more people to die. Fisk wants to find Muse because it'll make him look good.
Yep. Yeah. And the two of them essentially have the same goal, but for different reasons, and it's a race between the two of them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Fisk, his little, goon squad or whatever here is not up to the task.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got the one guy that's worth the shit.
Cole,
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's the only one. It's damn sure ain't Powell.
And like Cole doesn't seem like he's that dirty of a cop compared to the other guys.
Right.
He seems like he might just have a bad rap or whatever. Or, maybe he cracked a couple skulls.
Yeah.
But, he doesn't seem like clearly malevolent like the other guys on the task force.
Yeah.
And then, even Fisk was just like, no, that's not how it happened.
Yeah, and that shit was fucked up.
Yeah. Do you understand? That's not how it happened. Oh, okay.
It'd be funny if he was like just really dense. But no, you can tell by like these footprints, Daredevil was definitely here.
Yeah. Fisk is just like, no, you don't understand. It happened exactly like this.
No, Fisk, with all due respect, sir, like, you're not like a detective, right? So you can see from like the broken window over here, someone busted in. Plus, there was an eyewitness, sir, who says that they saw Daredevil come in, and then like you can tell by like the beat ass marks on Muse's body that Heather definitely didn't do this, sir. You understand, sir?
Buck, get in here. I'm gonna choke this motherfucker to death.
Where did he find Buck from? Also, Like that's a good find.
He's probably one of Wesley's cousins.
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, Angela tells Matt. Angela's still in the hospital, by the way, recovering from her severe blood loss. She tells Matt about Muse and the museum while Detective Kim is investigating the museum. And they're finding some real creepy shit there. Some really creepy shit. Meanwhile, we have Luca who meets with Vanessa. We don't get much of the B plot here, but it's starting to feel like by the end of the episode, the B plot is really blended in with the A plot.
The B plot was only 2 scenes.
Only 2 scenes. Right here and at the end.
Did you think Vanessa was going to be disloyal to Fisk?
For about half a second. And then I was like, nah.
I was like, Vanessa actually probably does agree with Luca. Mm-hmm. But Vanessa also knows that if she helps Luca take down the king, then Luca is the king.
Yep.
And she doesn't like this motherfucker.
Exactly.
She even outlines like, no, that $2 million you owe, that's for me. Mm-hmm. I said that shit.
Yeah. And Vanessa, she's way too smart for that. And you're right. If Luca takes out Kingpin, then Luca is the new Kingpin. He's the new top.
Yeah.
New top guy. The other issue is this. If Luca doesn't get the job done, Fisk, he ain't dumb. He's gonna eventually put some clues together.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah.
Also, he should have brought way more people.
Luca?
Yeah.
For sure, right?
Should have brought his whole crew.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people that consists of, but if it's 200, you should have brought 200.
Yep. For sure, because, like, just himself, clearly not enough.
Fisk didn't even turn around.
Yeah. He didn't even flinch. He didn't even stop chewing.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so, while Detective Kim is down in the museum, they do discover that there was a specific type of canvas that Muse was using. And it's a very rare and expensive kind of canvas. And come to find out, only 12 people within the area in the past 2 weeks have purchased that canvas. And they've interviewed 11 of them, and all of them check out. And the only one who doesn't check out is this cat named Bastion Cooper. And they are now highly theorizing that this Mr. Cooper is Muse. So I do not suggest you kick it with this Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, I would not kick it with him. He don't seem like a cool person to kick it with.
So Bastion, by the way, I guess everyone named Bastion is also an asshole that you just shouldn't trust.
Not the one in Neverending Story.
Okay, I mean,
so one out of. Yeah. I'm sure there's a good Todd somewhere, you know.
I still don't believe
that. Yeah, probably not. Yeah. I haven't met one yet.
Bastion goes to meet with Heather, and I'm like, man, Heather, like, for a therapist, you have, like, zero discernment. You need to, it's like, 2 of her clients that we know of, technically 3 of her clients that we know of, are really fucking dangerous people.
Yeah, she's fucking one of them.
That's not even a client.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, she wants to interview the Punisher, so she just has zero situational awareness.
She's at the middle of, like, the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon thing, like, but for Matt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. And they are meeting and talking about, you know, art and things that he likes to do and how he was forced to do not jujitsu, but taekwondo as a kid, and they even had the instructor come and live with them for 3 months, and then he turned up dead and blah blah blah. And this is also going on while Fisk is talking with Detective Kim about some of this information as well. And Heather slowly, maybe a little too slowly, pieces together that, hey, I think that he might be a fucking serial killer. And he is. Muse, he attacks Heather and, you know, in some ambiguous way that we really don't get to see, but he restrains her and ties her up. truth be told, she could have been dead right there, but he didn't see the need yet.
I actually kind of like how he went into it, where he was like, "I know what you're thinking. Can I make it to the door in time?" Mm-hmm. And then he just like crushes her head up against the wall. Yeah. I was like, "Nope, you cannot."
Nope, not quite. Not fucking quite.
This dude is a motherfucking psychopath, by the way. In case that was up for debate.
And that's why, like, I kind of feel like we needed more time with him, because was he always this unnerving?
Yeah, it wasn't like we met him. I get why they didn't do this, right? Because had we met this guy earlier in the season, we'd have been like,
That's Muse. Yeah.
That's Muse. It'd be like, it's like one of the criticisms I have of the Batman, where it's like, tell me who in this room dresses up like a bat at night and beats up criminals. And you're like, well, clearly it's this motherfucker right here pointing at Bruce Wayne, because, you know, he looks like he does that. But, you know, it's just the same thing here. It's like, which one of these people do you think walks around in this, like, creepy-ass bloody mask and, like, drains people of their blood and draws with it? It's definitely this guy right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially talking to him, it makes it pretty obvious that this guy is fucked up.
Yeah, he's like the alien's second attempt at Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. God damn, the second attempt. And they're still that far off. Sheesh.
Yeah, they got a ways to go before they can like make an actual like human being.
Yeah, they're trying though, but it's not working.
Yeah.
Daredevil goes to the museum as well, which is now an active crime scene, and he finds pictures of Heather. So Muse, I mean, he is an artist, but he must be a really good artist, like how Matt is a really good lawyer, because Matt was like, man, this drawing feels like it looks like my girlfriend.
Well, I mean, he does have the senses.
He does. But I'm like, Muse, his drawings have to be so good.
Yeah.
That Matt's like, this feels familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
These all feel like my girlfriend.
I think that's why they had the scene, they showed the scene of him, like, actually, like, feeling on her face.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we also got that in the 1994 Fantastic Four.
Immediately when he did it, I was like, why did we have to watch that this week? Why couldn't we have watched that any other week?
It was meant to be. It was fate.
Listen, folks, do not watch the 1994 Fantastic Four movie. Like, if you're going to watch a Fantastic Four movie, okay, you want to watch the very first Fox one, all right? If you're going to watch another Fantastic Four movie, watch the sequel to that one. If you really got to watch yet another one, just wait for First Steps to come out. Yeah. And then if that's just still not enough, if you need 4 to round out your Fantastic Four movies,
watch the cartoon.
Then you can watch the 94. Okay, for Dr. Doom.
For Dr. Doom and nothing else. Watch the last 30 minutes. Actually, you can fill in the blanks for the rest of it.
Yeah, but under no circumstances did you ever watch Man Four Stick.
At this point, fucking Powell. I need his first name to be Todd, you know?
Yeah, Todd Powell. He seems like a Todd.
He walks in on Daredevil's active investigation, and Daredevil's like, fuck, and knocks his ass out with the Billy Club.
I just hope this is a running thing with Matt beating the shit out of Officer Powell.
That would be phenomenal. I mean, there's definitely still time this season for it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when Powell comes to, he straight up snitches on Daredevil to Kingpin.
Yeah. I think Frank Castle's going to end up killing this dude.
Yeah. Because I will be a tad bit disappointed if we don't get any more Frank Castle this season.
That would suck, yeah.
Like, it was a great scene that he was in, but, I mean, come on. Like, you can't convince me that he's just in hiding, letting all this shit go down.
That scene that he's in... Is that the best Punisher scene ever in live action?
You know what it might be. For the homie Kevin, I got to point out the courtroom scene in Daredevil season 2.
Yeah,
That was also tremendous.
A lot of what folks didn't really like about the Netflix Daredevil Punisher was that he was so conflicted about his mission back then. It never bothered me because I always was like, yeah, I mean, he should be. But to stay true to the character of Frank Castle, this version has no misgivings at all.
Yeah.
He is doing the Lord's work, and he will not be deterred.
Yeah,
by any means.
I mean, absolutely, and I mean, you know, like this season of television, it really picks and chooses like certain cool, intimate moments from the comic books, and like in that meeting, is from like the Chip Zdarsky run of Daredevil. Like when those two have another really candid conversation. It's very similar to what they have here in that scene. I mean, it might be the best live action Punisher scene that we've had so far.
Yeah,
it could be, but I need them to follow it up with something because
agreed.
He can't just be hiding out.
I mean, he's getting a holiday special.
The Frank Castle holiday special. Yes, he is. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be phenomenal. Next up, Muse is about to kill Heather. And by about to kill Heather, I mean he technically cuts her wrist.
Yeah, she almost bled out. Yeah.
And, you know, at this point, he really, he lays out a canvas and he wants to take his time and, you know, and do his thing. I know there's some creepy shit that Muse does to these people that we just don't know.
And probably don't want to.
Definitely don't want to. There are police sirens in the way. He starts to freak out because it's not supposed to go down like this. You know, how did they find him? It couldn't be because one of his victims got away and he got his ass beat by Daredevil.
And like, there's a picture of his therapist in his museum.
Yep. He's a kid. He didn't think that far ahead.
He's way stupider than this in Your Honor.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because like, this is all from like the first episode, so it's not really that much of a spoiler. But like, Bryan Cranston's character's like, because like he accidentally killed a dude.
Yeah.
But the dude was alive and he knew it and he left him there.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and like Bryan Cranston, he like gets home and tells Bryan Cranston, who is a judge, about the whole thing, and he's like, "All right, cool. We're gonna go down there and tell him everything, and I'm pretty sure we can smooth it all over." And then like when he gets down there, he finds out that the kid was like the kid of this like crime family. Oh. And he's like, "Okay, new plan. We're never gonna tell anyone about this for any reason because these motherfuckers will kill you and probably also me."
Yeah.
So we're just not going to say anything ever to anyone for any reason. Like, if it's me and you alone, we can talk about it. And if not, then you never say a word to anyone. And, like, within 2 days, he tells his teacher, who he is also fucking.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's real bad.
Yeah, it's like, dog, you didn't even make it a week.
Right.
Like.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you got to put him on an airplane and not tell him where he's going.
Yeah, yeah, straight up.
Oh. Well, at this point, Daredevil shows up, and he straight up swings in through the window. And
it was dope.
Yeah, it was very dope. And Matt said, "I ain't hear no bell, bitch." And they proceed with round 2.
Yeah, round 1 went better for Muse than round 2 did. And I was thinking this whole time that round 2 was going to probably go better for Muse.
I was thinking the same thing, but no. Muse is just some 20-year-old kid who used to take Taekwondo.
Do you think the whole time Daredevil was beating his ass, he's like, maybe I shouldn't have killed my Taekwondo instructor? Or do you think he was like, my parents really spent way too much money on that guy?
Oh my gosh. He might have had both thoughts.
Yeah. You know? Yeah.
Like I can envision in his mind now, right? Like Matt punches him one time, there's a bright white flash of light, and then we're taken to a flashback of Muse training with his Taekwondo instructor. And he's like, remember, if you're ever getting beat up by a blind ninja for any reason, this is the technique you want to do. And Muse is like, I don't need this shit, old man.
I'll never be in that situation.
And then it comes back to present day. He's like, oh, shit.
Or I wonder if, like, maybe a few moments after that, like, while he's, like, clearly been losing the entire time, if he was like, man, I wonder if that dude just, like, told my parents he was, like, ancient karate master, so they would pay him a lot of money.
Because, like, I followed everything he said, and none of it's working.
Yeah, that is working. This guy's just a lawyer, and I think he's blind.
Oh, shit. But this is another great fight. Matt is super fucking aggressive here. And I'm trying to remember one ultra-violent thing. Oh, yeah, he shoots the billy club through the shoulder.
Yeah, the Nobu technique.
Yeah.
That we first saw Nobu use on Matt.
Matt put that in the old vault.
Oh, my God. This was gruesome.
Bruh.
Matt was prepared to kill this motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, we already started him throw Dex off a fucking roof.
Yeah. Dex is fine. He's fine.
But no, and here's the thing, right? Muse was dead to rights. Like, Matt was just beating his ass at this point for the sake of beating his ass. And Muse is trying to defend himself, and then pop. He gets shot.
Yeah, Heather wrecked his shit.
She straight up popped his ass a few good times. And he dead.
DED dead.
DED dead. Yep.
The next scene we get is that Fisk coming into the crime scene.
Actually, the next scene we get here is the scene with Daniel and BB.
Oh, right. With Daniel being a real piece of shit.
A real piece of shit. Why is BB friends with him?
Probably because he used to leak her information from the mayor's office.
Has he always been in the mayor's office, though?
No, but
Fisk, right?
I don't really get the idea that their friendship was, like, super lengthy either.
Maybe not.
But maybe I'm missing that, if so.
But Daniel wants BB to report to the task force that Muse was stopped, or wants BB to report that the task force stopped Muse.
Yeah.
And BB's like, yeah, but that's not what happened. And the verbiage he uses highly suggests that it is a threat to BB if she does not.
And she's like, are you threatening me? And he's like, no, I'm presenting you with an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, and this choice you're going to make is going to determine, like, whether the rest of your life is going to be real good or real bad. I was like, that sounds like a threat to me with extra steps.
A little bit, yeah. And then, of course, we, like you said, we get the scene with Fisk and Detective Cole North. And Cole North breaks it down what happened here. And Fisk is, like, no.
There was no one else up here. He's like, no, we have like 3 sets of footprints. He's like, you're not listening to me. There was no one else up here. Okay.
All right. I think I understand now. There was no one else up here. It was just Heather, yes, and Muse, yes, and Daredevil. God damn it. Yeah. Besides those 3, there was no one else up here.
Yeah. And of course, Fisk goes off and has, look, man, I'm telling you, the more this show goes on, the more true to life almost all of the Fisk Mayor shit is. I'll let you guys draw your own conclusions. But holy shit, some of this shit, I swear the headlines are like, they damn near match up what is actually in the news.
Man, what makes this so interesting, right, is I went through like a fucking rabbit hole chronologically trying to piece everything together here, because there was even an episode that we reviewed where I called Fisk Trump, right?
Yeah, by accident. Yeah.
Straight up Freudian slip.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so fucking bizarre, because when this show was being written, Trump wasn't in office.
Right.
But the comic book they're basing it on was written when Trump was first in office. And so I was like, this is like some next level Inception bullshit.
It really is. Trumpception.
Trumpception.
If you will.
This stuff is not that deep. Yeah.
Yeah, the next episode is going to open up with Fisk announcing that he's going to be charging tariff to Chicago and Atlanta.
They're like, what?
Motherfucker, you can't do that.
So yeah, we do see Fisk with the task force at like some kind of news junction, presenting Muse's smash and all that, saying or presenting information that they are the ones who in fact stopped Muse, no Daredevil, and of course they're doing this to garner good praise and adoration from the public eye. It looks good for Fisk. Meanwhile, later on that day, Vanessa, she decides to give old Luca Fisk's location and tells him that Fisk is alone and he's at such and such place. Luca doesn't take a second guess about it and says, all right, bet.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to roll up in there solo dolo.
Solo dolo.
With a handgun.
Uh-huh. No protection.
This is not like a Walter White, I'm going to show up and level the building with a 50 cal.
No.
This is like, I'm going to roll up in there and become the king. Click, clack.
He walked up in there, and there were gunshots.
Yeah.
Just not the ones he wanted to hear. And he got DED dead by Buck. And Fisk did not flinch a muscle.
Buck is a real one.
He is.
Just saying.
Buck is, in fact, the real one. So Fisk needs to keep that guy around. Maybe give him a raise, you know, something.
He's like the best henchman.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, he's not dumb.
Yeah.
He's very capable. You know, everyone needs a Buck.
Yeah. He's like the Garrus Vicarian of Fisk.
That's a good point.
Like if Shepard was like an evil megalomaniac.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is effectively where this episode ends.
What do you think, man? What do you think happens? We got another 2 episodes left.
And these episodes are coming out separate, right? They're not coming out together.
But there is rumor that it's a part 1, part 2 type situation. So we might get a cliffhanger next week. I
think that in order to beef up the task force, she is going to give each member a special tailored power suit and form a Sinister Six. No, I'm joking.
Still be better than what Sony was going to do.
I mean, so clearly at this point now, he's going to try to crack down on all vigilantism.
Right.
And, I mean, let's be real here. He won't maybe code it this way, but it's going to be for Matt Murdock. It's going to be for Daredevil.
Right.
So these next 2 episodes could really be hell for Daredevil. Because Fisk, I mean, at this point, it really is like the Born Again comic book because Fisk knows who Daredevil is.
Do you think Matt finds out about Luca's murder and comes after Fisk for it?
I don't think so.
It'll be something bigger than that.
Yeah. I feel that like Matt has dirt on Fisk, so much dirt on Fisk, but none of it is really tangible. Let me ask you this, not to segue away from your question, but do we see Karen again?
I would hope so, right? Mm-hmm. Something has to come up.
Yeah.
Maybe she hears about Daredevil being around because it was at least reported that he stopped Muse the first time, right? Didn't that get out that he...
Well, we don't know how far it got out.
That's true.
Though. Yeah.
Then it is Karen.
Yeah, that's true.
Cherry might have even reached out to her and been like, look, Matt's doing the damn thing. I don't know if you care, but...
Right.
She's like, all right, well, let me get off this heroin long enough to come to New York.
Let me get myself together right quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope so, man, that she's going to show up in some way, shape, or form. The crazy thing is, like, I don't know what they're going to do for these last 2 episodes, and I'm kind of excited about it, to be honest.
Me too. I'm going to take a wild guess in the dark here. We're all shot in the dark. I'm gonna say they take another inspiration from the pages. The task force, maybe it's even Cold North specifically. They get the drop on Matt Murdock. He gets shot, and that's gonna be how episode 8 ends.
Oh.
Episode 9 picks up with Punisher saving the day, saving Matt. And then that's how we get our Frank Castle appearance again, and his relationship with Karen. I would love to see those two on screen again.
Yes.
So maybe they do something going that route. I can also see Frank being upset that Matt still isn't willing to get the job done the way that Frank gets the job done.
Right.
And hell, maybe they even do like a Dark Knight. Frank's like, fuck, I don't care. I don't give a damn. I'll take credit for this.
Yeah.
You know?
That would be interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, with only 2 episodes left, they got some interesting options. You got any guesses, any theories?
So, do you think Fisk is still mayor at the end of this season?
It would be moving awfully fast if he wasn't, right?
I agree. I think maybe like next season we could see some huge scandal or something that takes him down. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm hoping that Frank will be involved somehow. Also Karen. I think they got to go back to like the dirty NYPD angle, right?
Yep.
The only way I could see them not doing it is if they throw some crazy curveball and like Dex gets out of prison or something.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
I mean, hell, like in the 3rd act of the Born Again comic book, Fisk lets out like this crazy motherfucker from prison and puts him in a Daredevil outfit. And that crazy motherfucker goes around committing crimes.
Although they already did that
in season 3, which was heavily based on Born Again.
Yeah. Yeah, they did it with Dex.
Yeah. Dex is like, hey, I did this before.
Yeah, I did this before.
This is familiar. I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we get some Defender sightings.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Have you seen Finn Jones? I feel bad for the guy, man, because he was like, he basically said, man, give me one more fucking chance to prove that I can really pull this shit off.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, because, like, the guy, he's got the acting chops for it, I think. It just, the writing and the timing let him down.
Yeah. It would be awesome if, like, he just, like, came back and just killed it.
Yeah. It would be, like, the ultimate redemption, you know? Yeah,
they got him in Shang-Chi 2, running around with Shang-Chi and shit.
That would also be great.
Yeah.
I would love that as well. Oh, man. But, yeah, so there you have it, guys. That is episode 7 of Daredevil. We got to score this.
We got to score it, though. We got to score it. You want me to?
You can go first.
All right. I just realized your shirt. That's hilarious. All right. So I love the action here. I love that this is just like, this honestly could be a floppy comic, right? The way it plays out. Yep. If that's what you're here for, then you'll probably love it. I think to me, the pacing and the just kind of the way that the story unfolds here is kind of clumsy. Despite the fact that I like what they're doing, I just don't really like how they're getting there, or at least the way it's presented. The action here was great. They didn't really ruin anything as far as the upcoming episodes by doing this. I mean, it's not a huge complaint in the overarching kind of show. But I don't know, man. I'm really hoping we get an episode 8 where, it's just him having dinner with the Khan family. You were like, you have so much faith in me that you were just like, wait.
Oh, no.
No. He said he was going to come to dinner. It'd be rude as fuck for him to not go.
Listen, we don't see him meet Cherry on screen. We don't even see this dinner on screen either. All
right, fine.
Yeah. They can, as a matter of fact, they can start episode 8 with him being like, "Yeah, man, that dinner at the Khan's place was really good." Anyways,
actually, it'd be actually I want to steal your shit. And like they do the whole thing where they get to drop on him and like they go to shoot him and it blacks out. But then episode 9 opens with like a little like formation forming and the bullet bounces off and Kamala is here to save the day.
God damn it.
And then like she carries Matt off while Frank mows down all the cops.
I feel like maybe she would have a problem with the Frank Castle murdering people part.
Yeah, I actually also think so too. But Matt also has a problem with it.
That's true, but he's incapacitated in this scenario.
Yeah. She'd probably be like, "So that guy's a psychopath, huh?" But no, all that being said, I didn't love this episode, but I do like it. I didn't hate it. I just thought that it wasn't as well put together as some of the other episodes in this show. And I kind of just felt like a lot of it was just like, let's just get through this so we can get to the fight. Mm-hmm. And also there's the old adage, they only remember the finished kid, and like what this kind of sets up, Fisk, taking credit for everything and like going further into his anti-vigilante angle, is probably what's going to be important for the story going forward. So this is the lowest score I've given for the season, but it's still a good score. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
You stole my score.
We've been doing that literally. We've been, I think, within half a point on every Born Again episode.
Yeah, which is wild. Yeah, I literally had it set in my mind. I said, this is a solid 7.5 for me.
Yeah, because like last time you did it on both episodes.
Yeah,
like you gave the exact scores I was going to get. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, this is a solid episode of television. This feels like they wanted a clean way to clean up the Muse arc and try to move on to the next thing. It wasn't as smooth a transition as I would have liked it to have been, but like you said, it still wasn't bad. They do some really cool stuff here in this episode. It's just good to see Matt back in the suit again. Obviously, and him still doing his thing. The fight again was really cool here. This, I think, ultimately, my two biggest problems with it was that this episode didn't have that same kind of ebb and flow as previous episodes did, and also like the way that this episode ends. The questions that you have don't really come from the episode. It comes from, okay, well, I wonder what these characters are going to do now, because what else is there for them to do that can tie them back all in together,
Right.
So with effectively, an hour and 20 minutes left, hour and 30 minutes or whatever they have left combined, those two episodes, there's not a whole lot of time to work. But no, I have faith in this show. I would be very surprised and disappointed if they didn't stick the landing.
Let them cook.
But yeah, I give this a 7.5. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I want to see how they resolve things with Adam. You know that as some way, Vanessa has to find out about Adam and how he is still alive and being tortured brutally by Fisk. And I think that would be juxtaposed with Heather finding out that Matt Murdock is Daredevil and that fallout. She specifically said, I think people who wear masks are cowards. And I got a feeling Matt probably heard that shit. So I'm curious to see how that works out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting, man.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, Caleb, you have anything else?
I mean, I'm interested to see what happens next. I'm loving the show overall. I can't wait to give the finale, a nice wrap up in 2 weeks. And then right after that, we're going to start on Andor. I guess this coming week, are we going to tackle season 1 of Last of Us? We want to break that in half because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, so we can break it in half.
Yeah, so we'll kind of tackle the first five episodes of Last of Us this coming Monday, and then we'll be right back later on in the week for Born Again episode 8, and then week after that, we'll have Last of Us Season 1 recap. We'll wrap that up, and then we'll be wrapping up Born Again in the very next week. It's going to be time to jump into some Andor nonsense. So I'm ready. That's
what we do here, folks.
Oh, and probably another Fantastic Four movie.
Because we know that you guys love those.
Yeah. Yeah. Check out the review for 94. I don't know if I can. So check out the review, check out the documentary, and then I guess if you still want to watch the movie after that, by all means, there'd be nothing left I can do to stop you.
Well, that's going to be all for this one, homies. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode or this review of the episode as much as we did. But that's going to be all for now. We will see you guys again very soon with so much content. But until next time, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
And I'm Superhero Homie Caleb.